I do. That's not that related from what I can tell. I have a family member, my father. He's not a very nice person. Well, I'd say he's really bitter and frustrated. There's a lot of pent-up negativity around him, and it's apparent from even, when he checks out at a cashier, anybody can see it. It's really, really apparent. But there is a lot of love both ways.
So what's happening there? If you saw someone on the street bleeding, if the cashier saw someone on the street bleeding, we know you would go help that person. But when you see someone being obnoxious and abrasive, you don't want to help them, even though they really are suffering in the same way that someone who's been run over by a car and is bleeding is. They're suffering from their disconnection from who they are. So when you see someone who chronically behaves that way, you know what it means? They have powerful desires that are calling them, and for whatever reason they can't get themselves to let go of the thoughts that pull them apart, and so they're just holding themselves in a chronic tug of war. Sometimes earlier in life things can distract you and you can have moments of pleasure, but the older people get, usually the more stuck in their patterns of thought they are, and then the more evidence they attract that supports their theories of injustice and unfairness and inequality and wrongdoing in the world. You say, we're going to tell you something that you already know, but we want to say it out loud here. There's no one who experiences greater love than your Father. He's just not letting it out where you all can see it. And what we mean by that is he has the potential for it, because through his troubled life he has launched so many rockets of desire that he has big time desire, and it's all right there for him. If he could just find some way. You may be the key, but don't give yourself that responsibility. Give yourself the responsibility of seeing him that way, because it hurts you to see him otherwise. Give yourself the opportunity of seeing him that way. Don't try to guide him. Don't try to explain it to him. Just know who he is. And as you come to know it unequivocally, you can have a step 5 moment. You can be standing in line with him at the cashier, and you can watch him with his chip on his shoulder, interrogating or doing whatever he does that offers his display of dissatisfaction. And you can have practiced knowing who he is so well that instead of a step 1 moment, which is embarrassment or sadness, you can be having a step 5 moment, which is, yeah, that's just who you are, Dad, and I know why. I know who you really are and what you really want, and everybody on the planet would be ornery like you're being right now too under the circumstances, but I get why. And then when you're not embarrassed, when instead you're loving him, when you're not upset with him, but instead you're understanding, that understanding goes so far, because you know what you are? You are like the satellite dish that has beamed the signal in closer to him, and something that he's been reaching for that he can't find suddenly is right there standing in line with him, feeling it. And what you're going to start noticing is he's going to start softening a little bit, and when he turns and looks at you and you're smiling, not grimacing, you're winking at him, not hiding, you're giving him a thumbs up, not running away from him, you're with him in your love for him. You're with him in your love for him, because that's all he's reaching for. He would just like some evidence in this world that this is not a crap place to be. He would like some evidence in this world that there is truth, and that there is justice, and there is rightness, and that there is a pattern, and that there is a way to live happily ever after. He just wants to see it demonstrated somewhere, something that he once believed that the larger part of him will never let go of.
Okay.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be nice if he had some of those moments before he croaks?
Yeah. Exactly what you said. At the cashier, that's the example that I brought up, because that's the time that I feel the most embarrassed. When we leave, I backtrack and I apologize.
This is a really good thing, because this is you in your embarrassment carrying more what those people feel than what your inner being feels. and your inner being isn't embarrassed. Your inner being understands. Your inner being knows what he wants, and your inner being knows what he currently believes, and your inner being is never giving up on him. Your inner being is not embarrassed. Your inner being knows who he is and why he feels the way he does, and keeps standing there just waiting for him to come on home to it, to come on home to it. But you are doing what anybody else would do. Almost anybody else will do it. Everybody's got stories of how their parents embarrass them. But as you stand there not embarrassed, because you're standing with your inner being, who's standing with his inner being, and instead of being embarrassed, you're not on his side of belligerence either, but you're on his side of fairness and justice and truthfulness. You're on his side of respect and things getting better. You're on his side of fairness across the board. You're on his side about equal opportunity. You're on his side about love being across the board. You're on his side about prosperity. You're on his side about all the things that he wants. You're on his side. And as you stand there on the side of your inner being, so that your energy's not split, whoa, what a difference that will make in your relationship, not just with your father. Your father is giving you this opportunity to discover your relationship with your inner being. Yeah. Enough?
Yes.
Really good. Really good. This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment. We are eager about what's next for you. Take it easy. There's no homework. There's nothing that you need to do. There's nothing that you should do. Just be easy about this. Have as much fun as you can have, and watch the good stuff roll into your experience. You understand this. There is great love here for you. And for now, we are complete. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.